3778. 1-800-944-3778.
McGraw Milhaven on KTRS.
All right, let's get right to it at 9:10 on KTRS here in St. Louis. There's a new book out, must read for many of us. It's called American Turnaround, Reinventing AT&T and GM and the Way We Do Business in America. Ed Whitacre, former St. Louisan, is with us, author of the book. Ed, welcome back to Big 550 KTRS here in St. Louis.
Thank you, McGraw. It's good to be back.
When President Obama called you in 2009 to take over General Motors, how did that conversation go?
Well, the president didn't call me. The car czar, Steve Ratner, called me, and that conversation was, Steve, I don't know anything about cars. I think I'll pass on this. But we continued to talk, and after a relatively short time, the more I thought about it, I said, I'll go give this a try. And I'm glad I did.
So they only called you once?
No, we talked several times.
When you got there, what was wrong with General Motors?
Well, General Motors was just emerging from bankruptcy, so there was a lot wrong, but it was the morale was low. It was a confused company, wasn't sure what to do next or which way to go or what business we were in, a lot of those things. It was sort of in a confused state, I thought.
You have said in this book, American Turnaround, that there was nothing wrong with the employees, that it was management's problem.
Well, I think management has to bear the responsibility for what happened, not only at GM, but in any place that doesn't do well.
Could GM have survived without that government bailout?
No, could not have. The bailout was exactly the right thing to do. You consider GM and its place in this nation, and not only GM, but all the suppliers and the millions of jobs that surrounded that. It was absolutely the right thing to bail it out.
And it was 2 years. You went from the great line in this last campaign was, GM is alive, Osama bin Laden is dead. What did you do when you got in there? I mean, 2 years, that is unbelievable turnaround for this company. What happened?
Well, you have to remember the people at GM, who are great, were embarrassed, and they wanted to prove to America that we're good and give us a chance, and we'll prove it again. And by golly, they did. And we reorganized, and we set a new objective, and that was to design, build, and sell the world's best vehicles. The people took that to heart. They set out to do that. We got rid of some of the bureaucracy. We empowered some people. And by golly, they took over, and you see the result, and it's onward and upward, and I'm very proud of them.
You also say in this book, American Turnaround, that you wanted that the moniker of government motors was looming over you almost every single day.
It was. Everywhere I'd go and talk about our products early on, I'd hear, I'd never buy a vehicle from Government Motors. I don't like what happened. So, we had to shed that label. Well, the way to shed that label is to get government ownership down to zero. And we worked at that, and it's almost that now. And I do think GM should pay back the American taxpayer every penny. I hope that happens. They're far along that track. But it worked, and GM's doing terrific.
The book is called American Turnaround, Reinventing AT&T and GM and the Way We Do Business in the USA. Ed Whitacre, our guest. It has been told to me, Ed Whitacre, that you turned General Motors from a car company to a technology company. True or false?
Well, I haven't really thought about that. I'd have to think about that a while. But there is a lot of technology involved, no question.
But the car today, the American car today, has much more technology in it, Wi-Fi, not just a speaker and radio and CDs, than ever before. You would agree with that?
I would agree with that. But Ed Whitacre didn't do that, but the engineers and the people at GM did that. Sure.
Going forward with American cars, where do you see the American car 5 years from now?
Well, I don't know. There's different technologies, different propulsion systems. We had the Chevy Volt, which was is a terrific product. There's a new Cadillac, I think, with the environmental concerns, with the concerns about the climate. I think you'll continue to see pushes in that direction. I think GM and other companies have a responsibility to explore those technologies, and if I could predict that, I could probably do a lot of things, but I can't predict it. But I think it'll continue to move in that direction.
Ed Whitacre, you left GM before the IPO. How come?
Well, age was one. I thought somebody should replace me that had more runway than I did. I was close to 70 years old. I thought they needed a leader that could go for a long time, and Dan Ackerson's certainly done that.
What was the biggest single thing you did at General Motors? Most important thing?
Hopefully, I was a cheerleader that pointed out that we could be great again and helped to convince the employees that was doable, and by golly, they did it.
Come on, hold on a second, Ed Whitacre. You're a very smart man. You're telling me that all you did was just become a cheerleader?
Well, did a little more than that, but smart guy, that's not me. But I tried my best and made it possible for people to do their jobs, I guess, is maybe the biggest contribution. Cleared out a lot of underbrush and let them focus on designing, building, and selling the world's best vehicles.
Let's talk about the book is called American Turnaround, Reinventing AT&T and GM, the Way We Do Business Here in the U.S. Ed, a couple of phone calls. People knew you were coming on the show. They wanted me to ask you this question. And the rumors are that you took Southwestern Bell away from St. Louis because you were turned down from a country club.
I know that rumor's persisted for years, and I can say that is totally false. It's ridiculous.
Why did you take Southwestern Bell out of St. Louis and brought it down to Dallas?
That was a very difficult decision because we'd been in St. Louis for years, and St. Louis is a great place, and I still have a lot of friends there. But the facts are that we were a service company. More than 60% of our customers, our market was down in Texas. It was just the logical thing to do. Things were beginning to happen and happen fast. You want to be close to your markets when you're in the service business, and it was something that there was no easy answer, but I think it was the right thing to do, but it was a sad day.
All right, so you're telling me that country club rumor is 100% false?
100% false.
You also had a conversation with Steve Jobs, which led to AT&T being the exclusive carrier for the first iPhone. How did that come to be?
Well, Steve had the new invention, the iPhone. It was very expensive. We put a lot on the table. We took a big gamble with that. But Stan Sigmund, who ran our wireless business and was really a wireless genius, showed me that thing. We looked at it. We talked about the potential applications. He said this could be big. I agreed with him. We pushed a lot of money out on the table. It was a risk, but the rest is history. You know where the iPhone is now. It's terrific. Was
that the biggest risk you took in your career as a CEO?
I don't know if it was the biggest, but it was a big one.
Did you, in your wildest dreams, did you think the iPhone was going to be as successful as it was?
Stan and I both talked about it a long time because it was expensive, and we had to pony up a lot of money to get this and then resell it to our customers. But I think we both saw the potential. It outstripped our thoughts, but we're really glad we did it.
What's the future of AT&T? What's the future of communications and wireless internets and Bluetooth and television? What's that future, Ed?
And all that stuff. I don't know what the future is, but it's obviously more and more data, more and more applications, more widespread use. Who knows? But I think it'll be exciting, and I think it's been great.
Ed Whitacre has written the book, American Turnaround, Reinventing AT&T and GM and the Way We Do Business in St. Louis. Just got a text from Johnny Londoff, wanted me to tell you to say hi.
Oh, tell Johnny hi.
Will do. Ed Whitacre, best of luck. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
You got it. It's 9:20 here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Hey, you know why thousands of homeowners have had their homes coated with Rhino Shield permanent ceramic coating?